Racing. The Prestige Performance Race Team recently announcing that, it has two cars in the 2016 North American Lamborghini Blancpain Super Trofeo Series. And here to tell us more about these mean machines and speed is David Seabrook. He is the founder and the chief executive of Canoe Studios. He's be driving car number 23. Also joining us is Trent Hindman. He is going to be driving in the race. The race takes place qualifying, I believe, June 30th, with races to follow on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I want gentlemen, welcome to the studio. Welcome to Bloomberg.
Thank you very much.
Trent, why don't you begin by just telling us exactly what is this Super Trofeo Series? How does it work? And what kind of cars are you going to be driving?
Right, so the car itself is the Lamborghini Huracan LP620-2 Super Trofeo. It's a car specifically built for this championship. Every car is the same in the series. There's a North American Championship, European Championship, and Asian Championship. Obviously, David and myself and the Prestige Performance team compete in the North American Championship. And again, it's a car specifically built by Lamborghini for this race series.
So who all, David, competes in the Super Trofeo series, and particularly in the races you're going to be involved in this in a couple of weeks?
There's a total usually of 20 to 25, 26 cars that compete. Some of the cars have one driver, some have two.
They're all Lamborghinis?
They're exactly the same cars, same statistics, same powertrain, everything. The cars, of course, each team has the ability to set the car up based upon the needs of the driver and their touch feel for the car. So you'll have a pro class, which will one pro will be driving, or a pro. You'll have a pro-am, which is one pro driver with an amateur, and then you'll have an amateur class where just an amateur driver, because it gives an entry point for different drivers who want to experience racing to come in, and if they want to, they can move through the ranks, whether they're younger or whether they're older.
Now, before we get to more about the actual race, I want you to just tell us a little bit about what the Lambos were doing at West Point. Trent?
Right, so this weekend there was a car show, the Ramapo Concours, not too far away from the Prestige family of dealerships, right up in North Jersey around along Route 17. But from there on Sunday, there was a pretty big gathering, pretty big drive where a lot of the cars that competed in this concours ended up driving to West Point. One of the cars that did go to West Point was the number one car, one of our Huracan Super Trofeos that our teammate unfortunately couldn't join us today drives. He's in the pro class. That car has been wrapped in a really, really cool camouflage American flag kind of mashup for the Wish for Our Heroes Foundation. So we're trying to raise awareness, raise support, and ultimately funds to help support the Wish for Our Heroes Foundation. But we brought the car over to West Point, had it sitting right in front of the Thayer Hotel all day yesterday, and it was just an absolutely unbelievable sight.
So, David, you started out in banking.
That's correct.
Up in Canada. And I guess you did well enough that you could go down to Florida and start racing cars. So what category of driver are you, and how big a part of that is a Super Trofeo racing, and particularly with the Lamborghinis?
Well, I'm driving back in the past. I would have considered a gentleman driver back in the past, even though I was driving in a prototype class. Today I'm qualified as an amateur driver, and I'm teamed with a professional. My co-driver was Stefan Wilson, who was in the Indy 500 a few weeks ago. So it's nice to have someone good with you, and the advantage of doing that is that the two of you can work as a team to help one another. And the idea is because car racing, like what we're doing, is meant to be something that increases the value of the brand. It gets customers in touch with what the cars can really do, as well as to show people that it's fun. And Prestige basically pulls together a total package where they want to have their clients, others outside in the world, as well as the drivers, to see this is what cars are all about. Because America's a country that's really, a lot of its foundation is around the automotive business. And what we're doing is putting the public in touch with these unbelievably fast cars, because these aren't play toys where you just take a Lamborghini and slap some paint on it. This is a purpose-built race car that's pretty quick.
Trent, this is what, a V10 we're talking about, a 5.2-liter V10 with a 7-speed dual-clutch automated manual transmission.
Yes, sir. So it's a 5.2-liter Audi-derived Lamborghini-developed 5.2-liter V10, pushing out about 620 horsepower. Certainly can do a bit more, but the power's cut back just a bit for reliability's sake. Car revs to 8,200 RPM, so if you can imagine a 5.2-liter V10 screaming at 8,000 RPM, it's quite a thing to behold. It is a 6-speed double-clutch paddle-actuated transmission, specifically a race gearbox, not really something you'd find on the road. Again, more for reliability's sake.
Unless you happen to be in the Italian police department, because I understand the LP610-4 is the official police car version of the Lambo.
Well, but at least you didn't start out in policing. You started out in racing. How did you get into racing? You're a young man. What's the career path?
Right, so I've been very lucky, very fortunate to be given opportunities from a very young age. My father originally grew up in South Jersey on the water. He raced boats for a little while, but then once I started to come around, my mom more or less put an end to his racing career. So ultimately, I just grew up as a race fan, watching Formula One races on Sunday mornings with him. Ended up getting into motocross around the age of 4, started racing karts at the age of 8, and ultimately cars at the age of 13.
Well, gentlemen, good luck. Thank you so much for joining us in studio. The Prestige Performance Racing team telling us about the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America Series at the end of June. Glenn Watkins, if you want more information. Thanks to Trent Hindman, and also thanks to David Seabrook. This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg Radio.